Hello everybody and welcome to today's video, and I'm so sorry that I haven't put up a video before now. It has just been one very busy week. So Jessica has had the baby. I'll explain everything at the end, and then I'll also, I've got her permission to put a picture of him on the screen as well, so I'll do that. But first of all, I just want to say that last week, let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Andrea. I'm busy nan of 6, soon to be 7 and 8. Got news on the twins as well, so I'll leave that all to the end. But I did do my penny challenge and my Christmas 2023 last week. Let me just get rid of that, because I just haven't had time. I just don't know where the time has gone. Yeah, because we actually got a call to go to the hospital at 9 o'clock on Saturday last week, and we were meant to be going in on the Sunday to be induced, so I just haven't had time to do this video. So what I done was all the change I had, I've calculated it all up and I've marked it all off, hope you can see, and also I put £10 into Christmas 2023 savings as well. So that's them two all done. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and I just didn't have time really to do the video. So I can't even remember if, let me just have a look a minute. I think I put 5 into this last week. Yeah, so I done the 1 and the 3 on camera the week before, and then in the week I only had £5 note in my purse, so I just put that one in. So we'll do that one in a minute as well. So first of all, let's count the money. Right, that's the £10 for that envelope challenge this week. So I did print off another one because it was making all the black envelopes when I was colouring it in with my Sharpies. It was just ruining it, and it was going all blotchy and black and everything. So what I've done is I've just wrote the numbers in the envelope at the top. So that's for that one there. So let's count that we've got 200 here. Let me just, I don't even know if the angle's right or wrong or what. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 200. So let's pop this back in the tray. Right, okay, so we need 140 for the shopping. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, 10, 20, 30, 40. So let's get my purse. And we'll put that behind the shopping divider. Just in there. And then 30 for the fuel. So I'll put that in behind there. That's that done. So then we should have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 left. So we are going to be putting £10 into the birthdays because we need to start saving all that up. Let me just, I think you can see just, right. So I did put in £5 to the birthdays last week. Let me just double check on my sheet. Yeah, £5, which, like I say, I did do that off camera because we've just been so busy. So we'll put in £10 in. So we've got 15 into birthdays because the next birthday, well, Martin's 50 next week, but the next birthday after that is Fraser's at the end of January. So now we need to put £10 in haircuts and self-care. So I didn't get mine done this week because of Jessica having the baby. So I had to reschedule. So I'm going the first week of January for my haircut. So we just need to be putting £10 in here. So we've now got 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 into haircuts and self-care. And then the last £10 is because I'm due to go to the opticians, not till March, but because I have varifocals, my glasses, my bill usually comes to about £250 because I get the 2 pairs, but yeah, so I need to start saving that up. So £10 is going in there this week. So now we've got 50 into opticians. So that's all that done. Pop that back over there. So we'll now get out, move that out of the way. Just move my tea over. Right, so we've got £10 for this one this week. So I am doing for anybody that doesn't know, who doesn't watch me, I'm doing the 50 envelope challenge, but it's a bit of a twist to mine. So I'm not going to be doing 1 to 50 on every envelope. I'm doing 5 lots of £10. So my first row will go 1 to 10, second 1 to 10, 1 to 10, so on, which will then give me a total saving of 275. So this week we need to get the £10 out. Oh no, it should be oh yeah, that's right, yeah. So we'll pop this £10 into there. And I don't use the smaller envelopes and fold the money because I just don't like the money being folded. So then that one goes behind there. So now we have got the £1, the £2, the 5 and the £10 filled. So I'll try and get some change next week to do the 3 and the 4 because I do want to do them in order if I can. So where's my pen? So that is now £10. Whoops. Right. And I think that is it. So the story with Jessica. So we went to the consultant. Just have a sip of my tea a minute. We went to the consultant on the, I don't even know what day it was. Was it the Wednesday? Anyway, yeah, I think it was the Wednesday. We went to the consultant appointment and they gave her a date to be induced for the Sunday on the 18th. So she had to ring up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go from there. So on the Saturday morning, delivery rang her and asked her if she'd like to go in on the Saturday. So we got ready and we got her to the hospital because I was going to do everything, get all my stuff ready and that through the day on the Saturday. And she rings me just after 9 and says, Mum, delivery's just been on the phone. They want me to go up there as soon as I can. So I got up, had a shower, washed my hair, got all my stuff ready, and I picked them up and we went at the hospital. I don't know, I think it was about 11, half 11 by the time we got there. And they gave her this, they inserted this pessary on a string thing, and it's got medication in there and it releases it every hour to try and make your cervix really soft. So they put that in. I can't even remember what time that was that they put that in. But they put it in. Anyway, we done lots and lots of walking around the hospital. And then we was on a little walk in the morning, early hours. And I think it was about 3 o'clock. And the pessary came out when she went to the toilet. She'd had a show and all that during that time, And like I say, we'd done lots and lots of walking. So we went back to the ward, and they had another one ready to be put another one back in, but they gave her an internal and said that she was... No, when they put the first pessary in, they said that she was 0.5 centimetre dilated. When it came out at 3 o'clock in the morning, because it fell out when we was walking around the hospital, and we went to one of the toilets and it came out then. She'd had a show and everything. We went back to the ward and they were going to put another one in, but they gave her an internal, and by that time she was 3 centimetres dilated. I think this is right now, because I just don't know. I have had such lack of sleep. It's unbelievable. I know now what complete and utter exhaustion feels like, because by the Sunday night, no, by the Monday night, I was like hallucinating, where I'd only had about 2.5 hours sleep since I don't even know when. And in the end, at 5 o'clock in the morning on that Monday morning, no, Tuesday morning. Do you know what? I don't know. But Jessica said, Mum, get in my bed. And she sat in the chair for 3 hours whilst I had a 3 hours kip, because it was just horrendous how the lack of sleep had got to me. So they gave her an internal. She was 3 centimetres. So they decided then not to put the new pessary in. So then on the Sunday, all day, every hour, we'd go downstairs, walk all the way up around the hospital, up the stairs, down the stairs. We ended up doing nearly 12,000 steps on Sunday. Then on the Sunday evening, they came, we'd just settled down for the evening, and they came into the bay, because she was in a ward with 4 other people that were also having this pessary or some kind of induction being done. And they came in about 8 o'clock. No, it was about 8:15, and they said, come on, Jessica, we're going to delivery. Let's go and have this baby. They put they went in, so we went into the delivery. They broke her waters. They examined her again, and I think by then she was 4 centimetres? I'm sure it was 4 centimetres. So they broke her waters, and then we again went walking around the hospital to try and loosen things up, and you know, she was getting a few twinges and pains and that. Then we was in the delivery, and they weren't going to examine her then until they put her on the drip. So I don't know what time they put her on the drip, but I have just lost all control of time and everything. But they put her on a drip, and it really made her contractions a lot stronger. They were coming quicker. She was taking gas and air, and then they were really painful, so she opted for a epidural. So they were putting the epidural in between contractions, because the pain was just getting uncontrollable. So then by 6:45 in the morning, they examined her, and she was fully dilated. So she was then pushing. They said from 6:45, it will be about 2 hours and he should be born. By, it must have been about 8:45, 9 o'clock, we could see every time she had a contraction and she was pushing, his head wasn't crowning to the end, but we could see his head inside her. We could see the head. and she was absolutely exhausted. So then they said that they would need to get him out because Jessica's heart rate was going up to 180. And every time she had a contraction, the baby's heart rate would usually go up. The heart rate of the baby usually goes up during a contraction. But with him, his heart rate was going up after the contraction had finished. And at one point, his heart rate went up to 238. So she needed a little bit of help because they didn't think that his head would just come round that bend. And in the meantime, with her keep pushing, there was a build-up of fluid in his head. So I think it's called a Ventouse suction. I'm not quite sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. They couldn't do that because of all this fluid that had built up on the top of his head. So they put a clip on his head during labour so that they could monitor his heart rate a little bit better. And they got the consultant and another doctor came in, and every contraction then, because they needed to deliver him by forceps, they were literally, every contraction she got, the consultant put his hands inside her around the baby's head and was just trying to make some room with his hands so that there was enough room then to put the forceps in. So this was going on for quite a few contractions, and then he literally put one of the forceps in one side, and then when she had the next contraction he slid the other ones in where he'd made the room either side of his head. And then literally, oh my God, I was trying to comfort Jessica and I could just see these forceps clamped together, and he literally, the consultant just got hold of him, and then when she had that contraction, he was literally, he was like pulling, like it was a tug of war, literally. You could see he was struggling to get him out, so he literally got hold of him and he was pulling at such force. So I was cuddling Jessica and she was going, Mum, oh my God, it's hurting me so much. And she gave out a massive scream. And I was saying, Jessica, it's fine. His head's there. I can see his head. He'll be out before you know it. And then he was delivered straight onto her. And his colour was perfect. There was nothing wrong with his colour. He wasn't blue or purple or anything like that. They delivered him straight onto her chest. And Corey was going to cut the cord, but they needed to whip baby off because there was a doctor over waiting, you know, in the little bed thing that they check him over in with the lamp on the top. And he didn't cry or anything. And like, I had Corey behind me saying, why isn't he crying, Andrea? Why isn't he crying? Anyway, they laid him down and I looked down and Jessica had lost quite a lot of blood. So they checked him all over and I looked over at baby and he was just led there, just looking around. He didn't have all that gargly sort of mucus like babies let out when they cry. He didn't cry. He never had no gargling or mucus or anything. He was just so happy to be led there, looking around. And he weighed £6 7 ounces, so he is quite dinky. We, like, the other grandchildren have all been, I mean, Dexter was £9 7, Olivia was £9 6, Isabella was £8, I can't remember exactly, late 8s, and Harry was £8 odd, and Ella was 7-11, I think it was. So he's quite a tiny baby compared to what the rest of the grandchildren are. Anyway, that was that. We got him all ready and everything. Anyway, Corey went outside. I'd rung Martin and said that it was quite a traumatic experience to the end, because they were all we could hear was our phones going off, but we needed to be with Jessica. We couldn't just stand there and start texting and things like that, because Jessica needed us at that time. Anyway, Corey then went out for a little bit of fresh air. I was going to go with him, but I said, no, I'll stay with Jessica. And then when you come back, I'll go down and see Martin, because Martin was outside waiting. I mean, he'd slept in the car the whole night on the Sunday night, I think it was. He stayed in the car all night and slept in the car. And every now and again, we'd go out and see him and then go back in. And anyway, so Corey had gone out to see Martin, and honestly, Jessica's heart rate had rocketed anyway during labour, and it was still 150, and it had got down to 120, and they couldn't get it no lower than 120. So she sat up and she started vomiting. It all went over my hand, but it was just bile that she was bringing up. She brought up a massive sick bowl of bile. The midwife gave us a clean one, and then the midwife went out of the room, and it was just me and Jessica in there with the baby. He was fine. He was led in his cot, and Jessica went back, and literally I had never seen anybody. The sweat came off her like a tap. It was awful. And her hair at the side, I tried rubbing her hair away from her face, and it was just wringing wet. It was so scary. The midwife came in and she went, oh my God, I've only been gone for 30 seconds. Jessica really doesn't look well. She hit the emergency button, and then all these doctors and that just came rushing in, and she had lost 2 litres of blood, which is 4 pints. We've only got 8 pints in our body anyway, and she just lost 4 pints of blood. Her heart rate went right up. They couldn't get her heart rate down. They were saying to her, Jessica, have you ever had any heart problems before? Have you had any cardiology appointments or anything like that? And we were saying no. She just went all hot, all clammy. They couldn't bring the heart rate down. They was rushing around. They had drips. There was one doctor that was sat on the floor beside her and pulled her hand down, was trying to get another cannula in. She had a cannula with 2 pipes coming off of this hand already for the drip and some other fluid. Then they was trying to put a cannula in the other hand and trying to connect all these bags on the drip up to her and that. And yeah, it was awful. It was, she, towards the end and after birth, it was such a bad experience for her. So I got back out the way, and I then had baby, and I just quickly rung Martin. I mean, I said, tell Corey to get back up to the ward. Jessica's took her home for the worst. It was awful. So he came rushing back up. I was trying to explain everything to Martin, but I was just so upset. And he was then ringing around, like, the family, my mum, the children and that. And he was outside crying loads. Anyway, they knew something was the matter because it took so long for her to deliver him when it should have only been 2 hours, and it was like 2.5 hours later. Nobody had heard anything from me nor Corey, and it was just such a traumatic time. So anyway, after they sorted Jessica out, I then left Jessica and baby with the midwife, and then me and Corey then went down to see Martin because he was outside on his own crying, and you had people going in and out of the hospital, and they were looking at him as if to say, oh God, what's the matter with you? And we just all went down. The 3 of us was downstairs, and we just all got so emotional. It was horrible. So Jessica had to stay in because she had lost a lot of blood, and she had to have these injections and that given to her. And yeah, I stayed with her then that night on the Monday night. Corey went home and it was just so tiring. I was absolutely exhausted because I hadn't had any sleep. I had about 10 minutes sleep at about 6 o'clock in the morning in the delivery room, and before that we'd had 2 hours on the Saturday night, so I hadn't slept for all that time. Plus we never got much sleep on the Saturday night because Fraser, Lauren and the kids stayed here because Ella was taken up the hospital and we had to go and pick them up at like 3:30 in the morning. So we had Harry here. So to help out with Harry, Fraser and Lauren stayed here with the kids so that they could have Harry when we went and picked Lizzie, Shane and Ella up from the hospital because she was discharged. So by the time we got back from the hospital from picking them up, I think I must have went to bed about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then Jessica rang at 9 to say delivery had rung. So because we had Harry in bed with us, I didn't get much sleep anyway. So I had lack of sleep on the Friday night. But oh my God, he's here now and he's gorgeous. I'll insert a little picture of him. But yeah, he's such a good baby. He's so good. I mean, yeah, it's just a miracle. And when we were at the hospital on the Monday, through the day, no, it was 9 o'clock in the morning, Lewis and Lizzie had a scan booked at the hospital and her mum was there. So I went out and met them in the corridor because it's literally, I come out of the ward and opposite is where you go for your scans. So I went out and she'd had the scan and they told her to walk around for half an hour because they needed to do lots of checks, but they couldn't get or everything that they needed, so we had to go off. So I went down to the restaurant with them, and we sat in the restaurant for a little while and then we went back up and I waited outside with Jordan's mum and Lewis and Jordan went in, and when they came back out then, me and his mum was waiting, me and Jordan's mum were waiting. So they are actually having identical twins. Now my twins are non-identical, but there's one placenta and they're in 2 sacs. So one twin is 2 days less measuring than the other twin. So on Tuesday it was Tuesday. So she was 13 weeks Tuesday just gone, so she'll be 14 weeks this Tuesday, which is the 27th. So yeah, they're having identical twins. They have got their own sac, but they are sharing the same placenta. So when I had mine, which are non-identical, I had 2 placentas and 2 separate sacs. So with these, they are identical, 1 placenta and 2 sacs. So I'm rambling on now. So yeah, so because they are identical as well, she has to go up there every 2 weeks to have a scan. Every 2 weeks. She's high dependency, she will be consultant led, and she has to have a scan every 2 weeks. So we're going to get lots and lots of scans with the twins. So yeah, so that rules that out, doesn't it, that it could be a boy and a girl. So now it's narrowed it down to either 2 identical boys or 2 identical girls. We are paying to have a well, Jordan's dad wants to pay to have a private scan for the gender reveal, and then we will have that in a couple of weeks time on the Saturday, and that will be me and my mum and Jordan's mum going to that. We will know what they are on the Saturday, so that we're going to be doing a gender reveal. We've hired a hall out, we're doing a gender reveal on the Sunday. So that is exciting news now, to see whether it's going to be 2 little girls or 2 little boys. So yeah, so really good things coming up in the future. Martin's 50th is on the 27th, 2 days after Christmas. So yeah, all exciting. So I know I'm rambling on now, so I really apologise. So I am going to hopefully get this video up tonight. They don't let you bath babies now when you come out of hospital or anything. They say that you shouldn't bath them for a week or so. So he's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is it Saturday today, isn't it? Saturday. So he's 5 days old today. So I'm going to Jessica's tonight. I've got a couple of bits of wrapping to do. I'll upload this video and then we're going to, she wants me to help her bath him. So we're going to go and bath Kieran tonight. Martin's on duty. Martin really hasn't been very well this last 10 days or so. He has had like this flu that's going around. 2 days this week he's finished work at 10 o'clock in the morning. I went to work yesterday because I didn't want to let them down with my bloods clinic, so I'm off now till next Friday. I've got a bloods clinic on next Friday. So it's nice that I finished yesterday and I've got another week off basically. I had Monday and Tuesday off as annual leave. I don't work Wednesdays and Thursdays, and Friday I done my bloods clinic, and it's only a 6-hour clinic, so that wasn't too bad. Right, I'm going to love you all and leave you all. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. I hope Father Christmas brings everybody everything that they wish for, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye everybody. Happy Christmas.